About a month ago, I built this PC. $700, no shortcuts, just smart choices. Now let's see if it actually holds up. I bought most of these parts before the late 2025's price spike, where SSDs, RAM, and GPUs all jumped up hard. So what I paid isn't what you'll pay now. But let's start now. To start off, I bought a 1TB Samsung Evo SSD. Originally, I thought I bought the Evo Plus, which is a bit faster, but both are plenty fast, and a terabyte is enough for me, which was bought before the shortage for $65. Would be a steal in this economy. It's funny thinking about a 1TB SSD being so cheap. One can wish, I guess. Next, the case, a Lee A3 MATX case. Works great and looks great. Cost about $73. As for the power supply, an MSI A750GL PCIe 5.1 for about $80. A bit overkill for my system, but is future-proof, and my system will sit right in the most efficient range for a low power draw, and has a 10-year warranty. Next, for the CPU, this was a hard choice for me originally. I wanted either an Intel Core Ultra 7, which is an absolute beast, but once I got my AM5 motherboard, I had to choose between a Ryzen 5 9600X or a 8700G. I opted for the prior as it was more powerful and cheaper at $200, and the GPU I chose was more powerful than the iGPU of the 8700G. The AIO I got was a clean 240mm MSI cooler with RGB, of course. That came included at the time of purchase. Next, for the GPU, I would highly recommend knocking the Intel Arc A380, which for $110 is a great deal, but recently has gone up to about $140. And for $10 more, the Intel Arc A750 is roughly 3 times more powerful and looks really clean. In my opinion, the A750 has the best value for budget systems. Right now, we'll talk more on that during the benchmark later. Finally, for the motherboard and RAM, I bought these before the shortage for $200. The motherboard is the Asus TUF Gaming B850ME Wi-Fi MATX motherboard. It is stacked with features and has lots of ports. My only complaint is I wish there was more than one USB-C. As for the RAM, 32 gigs of 6400 MHz CL38 T-Force out RAM. However, I swapped that for a Corsair one that I got during the shortage that has 6000 MHz and a CL of 40 for $200. It is black, so it goes with the aesthetics better. I'll try to put links to some of the parts that I would recommend in the description. However, don't copy this build, as the RAM alone will set you back like $400. I did a synthetic benchmark on Geekbench CPU and GPU, and the CPU scored 3,302 single core and 14,900 multi-core points, while for the GPU scored 42,606 points. This puts my CPU at the mid-range bracket and my GPU in more of a budget bracket. That's good. Now for the gaming. Fortnite at 1080p on all settings set to high, ray tracing off, and XeSS set to performance. I got a playable 56 FPS average with a low of 22 frames and a max of 63 frames. Not the best, but plays like butter. While at epic settings, ray tracing off, and XeSS set to ultra performance, I get around 40 to 50 FPS most of the time. No noticeable dips. It is smooth with no stutters or dropped frames. On RoboCop high settings, I get well over 60 FPS. Note though, that is with XeSS set to performance and XeSS frame gen turned on. However, I can't feel any input lag, so that's a plus for me. Now for the A750 again. I linked a video about it, but the card is honestly what I would have gotten if I did not already have my A380. However, the XeSS really pushes this budget GPU into still being relevant even in 2026. On peak max settings at 1080p, I got a very playable frame rate from 48 to 58 FPS. Games like peak without upscaling may need to have settings turned down to maintain a playable frame rate though. Marvel Rivals gets on average 115 FPS, with 102 FPS being the 1% low. That being with XeSS frame gen on at ×3 and XeSS performance on with the rest of the settings at low. Also, CPU usage was on average 40%, only jumping for cutscenes and loading new areas. Video editing, which let me say this PC is way faster than my laptop at. My laptop, a Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360, can export a 10-minute video 4K H.265 in about 30 minutes. My PC can export in around 10. Also, I chose parts for balance between efficiency and performance. The CPU and GPU have lower TDPs, meaning that the system can stay quieter and cooler. To finish this off, this PC can game. I really got it to try out the newest technologies like XeSS and even do a little video editing. This is not some $5,000 PC though, but for the price it is a very capable PC, and the A380 is the GPU that could. And to be truthful, making games run that shouldn't is fun.